Hi everyone, it's April now, and we are in the Easter holiday at the moment. And here we are again for a spring anime first impression 2022. This is episode 148, and my name is Mario.
My name's Whooper.
Yep, so we watched like a whole bunch of new show for spring 2022, and we picked like 10 shows, and we're gonna discuss, we're gonna rank it, and just like tell, just gonna say which one are our favorite and which one we will keep up till the end of the season.
Right. I don't think a high score, and by high I mean low, I guess, because we are creating an ordered list rather than giving them scores out of 10. So one being the best. I don't think a high rating necessarily means that we will keep watching them.
Mm-hmm.
Like we used to, when we used to do these, whichever the 4 series were with the best combined scores, the average between our 2 ranks, we would like lock in pretty much. We would watch those all the way to the end. I don't think we did that last time. That's a pretty good rule of thumb, but maybe we both love, just for example, Aharen-san wa Hakarenai, and then episode 2 just sucks and we both don't want to watch it anymore. I feel like we can comfortably just let it go. Please.
Yep, we have done that a couple of times, and I think that's a good choice as well, because when it's sleep in quality, and we don't really care about the story anymore. We might as well just switch it to another one.
Right. And since we're, the deeper we go into anime history, I guess, the more shows there are that begin airing just in the middle of the season. Not everything is beholden to a TV schedule. For example, Studio Wit's Vampire in the Garden is going to begin airing in mid-May, I think, this season.
Right.
Kotaro Lives Alone and The Orbital Children were 2 other examples. If I remember correctly, they started airing somewhere in the middle of... Well, I say started airing, but really they were just uploaded all at once onto a streaming service. So that can happen. And it may happen again if Vampire in the Garden is any good. We'll see.
Yeah, I just think that Netflix screw up the whole streaming things here. But
well, I mean, people who watch Netflix don't care about when things start airing on TV. Nobody does, really. I mean, nobody under a certain age.
I think the only difference that we can see is that for like a normal seasonal show, like with 3 months span, we will see, like when they start the first episodes, like the whole production hasn't ended yet, so they are like in the process of making episode 5, 6, and like until the end. But for Netflix, it's like the whole thing, so they have to finish everything before airing.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
We might see like the production rush over there, like what happened with the with US show, the
Tatami Time Machine Blues.
No.
Oh, Japan Sinks.
The Japan Sinks. Yeah, that's Japan Stink.
Oh boy, that show was. Every year I feel less disappointment when I think about it, and more just fondness. Like, it was so bad. How can you hate it? It was so stupid.
All right, so
you just want to laugh at it.
Wait until you watch it again, and you see like all the stupidity. What's up with you?
No, I would just do clips, just watch clips of it.
Right.
Like the rock falling on the psychic kid's head, or the wheelchair grandpa doing a 360 and shooting everybody, and they slump over like really, really in slow motion, really robotically after they get hit with an arrow. Those were those were just great. Those are legendary scenes in anime history, in my opinion.
Yep. And what is the Western guy name? Paulo something?
I don't remember. Oh, Daniel.
Daniel.
Yeah, the guy who was like a magician.
Yep. yeah,
We can
what you
only
say.
hope that 2022 gives us an anime as magically bad as that one. Maybe one
All
of them
right,
will be in this group of 10 episodes.
that's right. Maybe there is one in the making right now. So let's go through them.
Sure.
So we will actually do that. Like our tradition is to do this show alphabetically.
Right.
Talk about them alphabetically, and then we're gonna rank them at the end. So the first show on this list is Aharen-san wa Hakarenai.
Right. I don't even remember the
All
English
right.
title. Aharen is
Uh,
something.
indecipherable.
Indecipherable. Ah, I see. So like hard to figure out. Yeah.
Yeah.
This show is hard to figure out. Actually,
Really? All
no.
right.
No, it really isn't. I don't like it. I figured it out. I didn't like it very much.
I yeah, I don't like it as much as well. I think it is like this type of show that normally I will enjoy it, even if it like have a low ambition. It just like a wholly good time. But for this one in particular, I just not fun of it.
Well, I think part of it is that the main character is Raido, the really tall, dumb
Yeah.
guy,
Uh,
with a scary facial expression, or at least that's how he perceives himself to look. Instead of the main character being like, I don't know if you remember Hitori Bochi, that show, where
mhm.
the girl is like really timid and scared,
Yep.
talking to people, and she wants to make friends, but she can't do it. There's a lot of anime with that theme, man. Social
Yep. Yep.
anxiety
Yep.
in Japan
Yep.
must be like a massive issue if if all of these anime are being made to help people understand that it's okay to talk to others. In that show, it's like the show is very supportive of her, and she's the main character, but all her friends that she makes are they kind of come alongside her both in terms of their role in the story and also how the episode weights each of the characters. So she'll be important, but
Uh,
each of them will also become vital to every scene. Whereas in this show, it's just like Raido is. We hear so many of his internal thoughts. It's just from his
yep.
perspective, pretty much, 100%. And that's because Aharen is indecipherable, as the title says. But when he is so stupid and he's asking himself, like, why is Aharen acting so friendly towards me? Well, maybe it's because you spent an entire 2 days of your life trying to be really friendly to her, dude. Like, he just doesn't seem to catch any hints. Um,
Yep. All
he's
right.
he's just as socially ill-equipped as she is. So you're just watching two idiots instead of one. And I don't know. I don't like him very much, so I don't like the show very much.
All right. One thing I like about both of them actually is that they don't have any, like exaggerate facial expression. They kind of like muted, and I kind of like that. But the thing is, this one I think remind me a lot of a show from several seasons. The senpai, my senpai is annoying one.
Yeah, Senpai ga
I don't know
Uzai.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it remind me of that show,
Well, of course you
but
know why. The girl's really small and the guy's huge.
yeah, it's about the mismatch duo. But that one had a lot of chemistry. This one for the first episode kind of like of meet other characters. So we only see the two characters like in the class. Like they talk to each other, they talk out loud to each other, and no one really, like gets startled by them. Even like the teacher
Well, I mean,
doesn't
she's
call
so
them out, I
quiet.
think.
That'll probably happen
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah,
future,
yeah, yep,
maybe.
yep, yep.
But
Yeah,
she's
when
there
we
are multiple scenes where
expect the
she's
test.
talking and he can't hear her or understand her because her
Yep,
mouth is barely moving and she's barely enunciating. Then later in the episode, he's like,
yep.
"Oh, yes, my hearing has leveled up because I've been straining to hear her." So I
Yep,
guess they're
what she
they're
said.
really good at keeping their conversations to themselves. I don't know. I mean, I'm glad that they're
Yep.
keeping their conversations to themselves because I wouldn't want to hear any of that. Like,
And
let's share a textbook.
yeah,
Let's here's your eraser. Let's sit next to each other. I don't know. I'd rather learn.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I just think that um I just don't feel as the title suggests. So the title just said like Aharen is like hard to figure out, but like for me she just like spilled the whole thing about her characters while she talked to that main dude. That like she doesn't know about anything about the personal space of others, and you know I just don't feel like her mysteries is that much of a mysteries
Yeah, well, not
and
anymore.
interesting to begin with.
The show explains it in the first episode, so now it should be
Yep,
Aharen-san wa obvious.
yep, yep.
The show's really
Yep.
dull looking too. Like, I don't know. The architecture is sterile, so the interiors of the school building, where a lot of it takes place, kind of boring to look at. There's CG students in the classroom, so not just during establishing shots, but in the classroom. There are CG students, like nobody else even matters except for the two of them.
Yep.
It's kind of unimaginably adapted as well. Like, you remember the scene where Raido takes all that stuff to school? He's planning to take like a carrier pigeon and a bow and arrow, all these
Yep, yep,
different
yep, yep.
methods of like communicating, like sending messages to other people. He's taking all that stuff so he can
Yep.
talk to Aharen or communicate with her. But all the show does is it puts like little bubbles on a long, narrow, vertically oriented like strip, and just pans down, so you see all the still images of the tools that Raido is going to take to school. Instead of something like that, we could have gotten a scene where like he's in bed, the alarm goes off, he wakes up, gets a shower, brushes his teeth, and then individually, one by one, he grabs all those things, and like he has to open up a bird cage and grab the pigeon, and then shut the bird cage and grab all this stuff, and then walk out the door, and then we could pull back and see that his sister is standing there, like looking confused about all the stuff he's taking. So that way we get like a sense of his room and of his routine and of how he's overburdening himself in order to communicate to this girl. But no amount of thought went into, oh, let's just pan down a list of, or a series of images that were probably ripped right from the manga. It's just the storyboarding is, they just called it a day. They read the source material and went Control C, Control V, and called it a day. Like,
Yeah, pretty safe.
yeah, no, it's not just safe; it's lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I know that animators are like, going through hell trying to meet their deadlines and stuff, but I can only care about that so much. It's not like I'm going to watch every single seasonal anime every week of every year just because people are working hard to make them. There's got to be something that makes me want to watch, and taking the easy route, adaptationally speaking, is not like going to secure my viewership. It's just going to kind of make me sleepy while I'm watching.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So what rank did you put for this one?
9th out of 10.
I put it 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I reckon that's like by second or third episode they gonna extend the cast. So maybe some of them gonna be more interesting than the main dude. All right, move on to the next show is Danseur.
Right. Danseur.
So it's all about dance.
Right. Yeah, the first point of comparison for a lot of people is probably Ballroom e Yokoso
Yep.
from 2017.
I noticed the same long neck.
Did they have the long necks?
And they do have a long neck. Look at the poster. They do have a long.
Oh.
The necks are long.
I didn't really notice. You know, and I didn't take special note of their necks while I was watching Welcome to the Ballroom either. I know
Oh,
I know it was a big meme, but I didn't uh, I didn't have an issue with it. I didn't really have an issue with it here.
yeah. Oh, I don't have. I just pointing that out, but I don't have any issue with that. I think it's like make it look more. I think they're supposed to look more elegant.
Yeah.
But for me, it just look more distinctively. So, no, I'm good. So it's about ballet.
Yeah, not just about dance, but about ballet. Yeah, I mean, Welcome to the Ballroom, kind of a sports anime because there's a scoring system for ballroom dance, like competitive ballroom dance, with points and judges and stuff. Whereas this is more about art. Um,
Yep, yep.
so I like the contrast, or rather, I should say. I mean, I'm not contrasting them exactly, but I like that this one's a little bit different, just for the sake of
Mm-hmm.
variety
Yep,
as an audience member.
yep.
Um, See it, Aharen-san, which we just talked about, that I would say is pretty lazy. This I would say is safe.
Right. Hmm.
Like the music that plays, the music that plays during the first dance scene, where main character Junpei is like a little kid and he's in the audience watching an adult man perform. That
Hmm.
I was like, oh, cool, I'm getting into this. But all the subsequent music, um, where Junpei is dancing, like demonstrating what he can do for the girl whose name I don't think I wrote down, and her mother. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it was like just piano pop, like the kind of music you would hear in a commercial for like a carrot grater or something. It's really bad. Um, so they just decided that it didn't matter too much. Like maybe they're saving the good tunes for when, like for performance scenes in front of actual crowds, or maybe the rival character who's introduced at the end of this episode, maybe after the credits. I don't remember what was before or after. Maybe he's going to get all the good music to like underscore how talented he is and how Junpei still has a long way to go. But the music, like the piano music that was playing during his
All right.
dancing, I was like, eh.
All right. I don't have that much of an issue with the music. To be honest, it's not anything stellar, but it doesn't really distract me. Like like the other show that we point out last year. Uh, about Onager's dancing as well. Oh, theater.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Um,
yeah.
what was that called? Kageki Shoujo.
Oh yeah, that one, Kageki Sojo. So it's not as bad compared to that other one.
Yeah, but I specifically
Um,
pointed out to you and like sent you clips of how terrible that was.
hmm,
If I had done the same
yep,
for Dance Dance Danseur, or however you pronounce that last word, I'm not French. You
yep.
you know you may have a much clearer picture of what I'm talking about. I agree that it wasn't as bad, but it still like wasn't rhythmic in any sort of sense that would make me like appreciate a character's performance more.
Yeah.
It sounded like music that
How
makes you want to buy stuff like they put in commercials.
how did you like the main character Junpei?
He's okay. I you know, after understanding, I read the first couple chapters of the manga because I previewed this for the website. Um, after reading him for one chapter or watching him for half of an episode, you know, I got the sense of who he was and what he was about and what the show, where the show wanted to take him, like immediately. You know, um,
Yeah.
Dad wants him to be like traditionally masculine. Dad dies instantly upon being introduced in a flashback. Very subtle,
Yeah.
very light touch on the show's part to just kill off the dad after his first
Yeah.
scene. And then, you know, then the character's going to have some sort of war waging within him, like between traditional masculine expression and ballet, which is his real passion. I just I don't think the show is offering any sort of new version of that story. It's still a pretty interesting concept and premise, but I feel like
Yeah.
I know what's going to come out of Junpei's mouth before he says it pretty much every time.
Yeah.
So Not a character
I,
that I really
I
like, but he's fine.
yeah, yeah. I would say that he's like a typical protagonist of this kind of show. Like a newcomer to a new sport, new
Not really.
ballet.
He's not a newcomer. He took
Well,
ballet
yeah,
lessons
well,
for
but he
years as a kid.
oh he did take for a year. I didn't know that. I just thought that like he just do some random ballet move and that's it.
You just thought he did
Yeah,
some
I think
random
he did.
ballet move, and a professional ballet instructor was impressed with his performance.
Yep, yep. So
No,
I think it's kind of strange.
no,
So yeah.
no. He took ballet for years as a kid, and then after
With his
his
sisters, yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, because there's even that
Yep.
scene, the flashback where the dad is alive for that one scene, is the flashback where he you know, where he's like, can I go to ballet lessons with my sister?
Yep.
And he's like,
Yep.
oh hell, why not? And then dead. But there was a time jump there. Like he actually knew. He knows how to dance, I guess, because he did take
Yep.
lessons.
So yeah, I kind of like the way that he, like being self-conflict between, like what the image he want to appear and what he's really like inside, and like his insecurity of, like ballet being a her thing, and he's, like man, he too manly to do that kind of stuff. I kind of understand that. I kind of like enjoy that, but the way that he behave is just a bit grating at times.
You mean like when all the show's attempts at
I
humor when the girl, I wish I knew her name. I don't really like referring to her as the girl, but when the female
uh
lead will express interest in
Miyako,
his
that's what her
his
name.
dancing abilities, and he'll be like,
Yeah.
"This chick is totally into me," and there'll be a
Uh
zoom in on his face, with him making like a ridiculous expression.
that's his other issues. But yeah, I was mentioning like the one that he's saying to her mother that you think I'm like ballet. I don't like that kind of girly stuff. I don't want to go back here anymore.
Then he comes
And
back.
the next thing he come back, and it's not because I like it.
Yeah,
I just curious.
it's soon. It's just like a
Yeah, yeah,
personality trope, an anime trope.
yeah.
I personally, I was okay with that. I guess I have less of an issue with that sort of thing, and more with when something is not funny when it's obviously supposed to be, like him
Right.
misinterpreting his female classmates' interest in
Yeah,
him. I was like, man,
yeah.
can we just get past this, please?
And actually, like that studio is just next door to his apartment, right?
Is it? I didn't
I
really take notice
I still
of
don't.
where it was located relative to his house or anything else.
Yeah, I don't really get the sense because I remember like when he like in the beginning when he just stepped out and he saw his classmate Miyako, and he said like, oh my god, she totally like looking, searching for my house, and then she pointed to the studio, I think just next to it.
Oh, okay.
But my memory might serve wrong because there is like apart from that scene, there is like no sense of like of the location in in the series.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't pick up on that. But
Okay.
I do remember something about him, seeing the girl and being like, what's she doing? What's she doing out here or around here?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I kind of know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, that's convenient for him if
Yep.
he wants to if he doesn't want to be seen, he can just sneak straight from his apartment into the ballet studio.
Is exactly yes.
What a crazy
Right.
random happenstance.
How 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 you like the animation, the dance?
It's in the first scene. It's really strong. That's the
Right.
extended
Yeah.
performance scene with the guy whose face you don't see because of his hair. And I assume the reason for that is his character will be reintroduced at some point with his whole face visible, and then
Yeah.
Junpei won't recognize him because his eyes were covered before.
Yeah.
So
All
at
right.
that scene, I was like, oh man, this is cool. They're really um, they're putting all their effort into this straight away. The other dance scenes,
Yeah.
I thought they were fine. They were good.
Yeah.
It's a promising start, I think, in terms of the animation. But I wasn't blown away
Uh,
really by any of it. I was just kind of impressed with the first one.
right. 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 So story wise, it's pretty safe as well.
Yeah,
I'm asking you actually. Yes.
yeah. I mean, we just went over,
Yeah.
the
Uh.
whole gender
Yeah. I
thing.
think
That's going to be
over.
the story or a bulk of it.
Yeah. I think overall, I think it's a pretty solid start. But yeah, apart from is the story feel I feel a bit like we have seen this type of story before.
Yeah.
Maybe like better. But yeah, I still good enough for me to like try some more times, see how I like it. Some few more episodes.
Well, I
How
don't
about
plan to
you?
watch any more of it unless we jointly decide that it should be continued with. So I guess we'll find out.
Fair enough. All right, so I put it. Let me see. I put it 6 out of 10.
I did 4.
All right, and wow, that's his four show out of 10. So four favorite, and he doesn't intend to watch it anymore.
No. I don't intend to watch anime for too much longer, I don't think.
That's how pretty sad.
It could be
All
sad or
right,
it could not be. It depends on the anime around me. What's on
all right.
TV.
The next one gonna be Daimon,
Right.
Recipe for Happiness.
Oh, is that the English subtitle?
That's the English subtitle.
Gotta have an English
I think
subtitle. You gotta have the Japanese title, a colon, and then the English subtitle every time.
the next show gonna be like that as well. Kaguya-sama Love You Swa.
Ultra romantic. That's the subtitle of the third season.
All right,
Daimon.
Daimon.
Yeah, I thought it was all
I
right. It's okay.
I think I enjoy it much better than you.
Yeah.
I it just remind me of a good thing of Barakamon and Udon, which I think I watched like the first 3 episodes, and I know that you really like it.
Right. Boko's Udon
Um,
World. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, I just think that compared to Kotaro, which is also about a neglected child, this one is not as subtle as that.
Did you say a
But
naked child?
no, I an abandoned child. I didn't say abandoned, but I didn't say naked.
Okay. Yeah, an
Oh,
orphan. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't even remember
Yeah.
her story, like how exactly she
Her
came to be
sis.
orphaned.
All right. Her story is that I think she lost the mom, and then the father just he playing music, and at one point he just like stay in this shop for a while. I think because they have like far relative or anything, and then just one day he took off
Hmm.
and left her there. That's the story.
Right. Well, that's some very sad stuff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't quite match the backstory of the main character. I don't know if you would probably characterize the guy, the adult man, as the main character of the show.
Yeah.
His backstory is that he was not really cut out for serving sweets at his family's confectionery because he got too emotionally attached to the baked goods.
To the Swiss.
Yeah. So he couldn't handle
Yeah.
that. And when he overheard someone, like his grandfather or his father or something, criticizing him for that, he ran away from home because he couldn't handle someone pointing out that it was stupid that he got too emotionally attached to baked goods.
I just feel that he want to pursue his musical career as well. It's whatever he done, like I think he's singing on the street.
Yeah. Well, he does with that little chestnut. It's not even a mask. What is it? Like a
Mascot. It's not even a mascot.
like a head covering. It's I don't know what you call that exactly. A helmet almost. But that's what he ends up doing. He ends up being like a street performer, or no, he's in a band. That's the very beginning of the show, right? He's in a band and they're performing for like a really tiny crowd, and everyone else wants to break up. All the other band members want to break up, and he's like, "I can't believe this." It's just everything about his character.
Funny.
Well, it's supposed to be funny, but like, I can't take him seriously. Like, there's a very sad story being told about this abandoned orphan girl who was like working her hardest to earn her place at this confectionery where she works after school, in violation of child labor laws, probably. And then on the other hand, you have this guy who's supposed to act as like a mentor or a father figure or a friend or whatever after coming home. But he is just there's not a single thing about him that I'm interested in or that I would care to watch again because he's a joke.
Yeah. I think like part of that is intentional.
It completely is.
I think the girl pointed that out to him as well, that he's like the immature prick. But
she calls him a prick?
No, he didn't. He didn't say that out loud, but she means it, and I just let like her thought to to you.
Right.
But well. But I think there's a lot of room for him to grow as well to like to the end of this show, hopefully. And I kind of like like how they bickering and that they end up getting a kind of bonding at the end of this episode. So I'm good with this show.
Yeah, they do fight and they do set aside their differences when he figures out how they can make money on the manju. I think it's manju that they've, there's a prank call or someone flakes out on their order. And having worked in fast food before, with catering, and someone will call and place a huge catering order, and then they don't show up to pick it up. You're like panicking because you've just made all that food and lost a bunch of money. I know what that's like, and he figures out a way to sell the stuff by making use of his musical talents. But I don't know. I just see that as too much of a reach. Like, the show is trying to reincorporate his the music that it showed us at the beginning of the episode. Like, oh, look, he's actually got some guitar skills, and this is how he's gonna win the favor of this little girl who's been hating him for this entire episode. It just feels a little too schmaltzy, and for me, I just not invested.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I like the girl a lot more than I like the main character. And the two of them being jointly the main characters means maybe they'll have like an equitable partnership going forward, learn to understand each other better and all that. But of course, I see that in the show's future, but I just don't care to stick around and find and like watch it happen.
Right. How did you like the act, the background? I love it.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's achieved using some sort of filter to give everything kind of that fuzzy, wavy, kind of speckled look. It doesn't, it's not like watercolors or anything. We're not talking. wandering sun type of backgrounds here.
Yep. Yep.
But the effect is nice, even if I don't think each like
Yeah.
background is like its own work of art. I think overall the show has kind of a consistent look to it.
I think it might be more of like Sukiyaki, the art style. And I love I love to see the way that like the character have like the little white spot, you know. Uh,
They have white outlines around them,
uh,
kind of
yeah, white outline.
like
Yes, that
reflective.
yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yes, I kind of like that. The character design themselves are a bit, like very typical, but like I kind of digging the art style for the show.
Yeah, I thought it was. I more or less agree. I mean, I thought the whole thing looked kind of typical, actually.
Right.
It's just that there are a lot of backgrounds. A lot of anime have just straight up shitty background art
Yep.
because most of the animation houses that do background art specifically, like that work is contracted to them. They pretty much all work the same way, and there are only a couple of outliers. So whoever the production committee for this series, I guess they sprung for something a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it creates like its own signature. I think
Yeah.
you can easily point to this anime or that anime that it looks kind of similar to. If you were to go back and look for series that look like this one, or look like Tsukigakure, or look like I don't know,
Yep. And
others with this
even
style. Yeah.
I agree that like when you think of Sukiyaki or Wandering Sun, it had more of a personality in their art style than this one. So yeah.
Well, the shows are just a lot of people when they talk about anime's background art, you find that whether or not they like the show strongly influences their perception of production elements in general. Yeah, but especially background art, which is kind of it's in the background, and it's not the first thing that you see. It's not meant to be the first thing that you see. So somebody might really like, I don't know, Naruto fan 123 may be like, man, Naruto just has the best background art out of any anime ever made. But that's just how they feel about Naruto in and of itself.
Yep.
So I don't know. This
see.
show kind of feels like the whoever's favorite anime is Deaimon. They'd probably be like, this show has the best background art of any show I've ever seen. I don't think it has any like really distinguishing qualities that would make it jump out at somebody who wasn't just kind of coasting along and being like, wow, this is everything about this is good because I love it.
Yep. Yep. Okay. All right. So how did you put the show?
Well, I put it at 6th out of 10.
All right, my 5th out of 10.
Okay. Pretty much on the same page so far.
Yeah, it's true. All right, I don't think it's gonna change with the next one. Kaguya-sama, Love is War, ultra romantic.
Indeed. More of this. Probably the first time we've ever. This is our first time previewing the same series for the third time.
That is true.
It's recent enough that we could do that because Chihaya Furu, too old, or our podcast isn't old enough to have gotten that one.
Yeah, it's extremely popular. That I would say that for the span of 4 years, it had like 3 seasons. So yes, this one is popular, and I think the first episode is kind of like the reminder why like we still like it so much. I totally enjoy it.
I think they replayed the finale from season 2 at the start of this one, like the explosion where with the pink clouds and all the characters kind of flying by the camera. Kind of appropriate because it's like the show is saying, we know you've been waiting to see them again. Here they are.
Yep.
Um,
It's
yeah,
fan service, yes, but
yeah,
kind of kind of appropriate. And yeah, I really like the beginning as well.
yeah. As for the all the
What is
individual
your
chapters it adapts, I think those were good. Man, I'm struggling to remember them. I know there's the arm wrestling one.
there is the arm wrestling one, and it oh my god, I watch it, and it came with the like a painful memory of just what happened recently. Like in with my friend who do the arm wrestling after playing ping pong, and he broke his arm. He
Oh
had to go to
no,
the hospital. Yep. So it just bring like a painful flashback to that. So
Was he arm wrestling against a woman?
no, he arm wrestling again one of his friend,
Oh,
and
then it's not
they
exactly the
they
same as
doing
Kaguya-sama.
yeah. Well, they doing like on their right hands, and it was alright. But when they doing on their left hands, he broke his arms. He
Oh
had to go to the hospital. He had to like going through surgery and all this.
man,
It
the two of them must have been pretty strong to create that sort of resistance. That would,
I just feel that like they have like the position wrong
yeah.
to begin with, so maybe that's why. But yep, painful. But I what is your favorite segment out of the three? So there is a arm wrestling. There is like a segment where Inyo listen to like her chill out music out
Right.
loud,
And Ishigami tries to save her,
and
so no one realizes that she's listening
yep,
to like
yep.
otaku, motivational, kind of sexual stuff.
And there is a segment with light, the apps.
Oh yeah, Kaguya using her cell phone, yeah, and read
Yep,
receipts.
yep.
Um, I mean, what's my favorite? I I don't know. I don't
Do you
know.
like them all? See,
I thought they were all pretty good. I mean,
right.
my I don't know if I would say it's my least favorite, but the arm wrestling one specifically, I kind of had a bone to pick with that one,
Right.
because
Why?
the a lot of the humor is based on the fact that Kaguya is supposed to feel shame that she wins the arm wrestling tournament. Like after she wins, everyone starts to mock her,
Yep.
and because
Yep.
she's supposed to be like a delicate lady, the future head of a really important household, and instead she's just demonstrated that she's really strong, and everyone's making fun of her for it. I like, and she's that in itself is fine, I guess, because that's kind of expected behavior from high schoolers. But she gets like extremely embarrassed about it, and I would have preferred it if she had like been able to brush that off a little bit, because she's been friends with these people for a year now.
I think she's more startled by the fact that she she bit she have the like
Shirogane.
they yeah I mean like they they do hands touch like like uh they just
Yeah, she's flustered by the physical contact with Shirogane.
yep.
Yeah, I
So
know,
I
but in the aftermath of the arm wrestling tournament, they're all making fun of her for being so
yeah
strong, and she's like, "Oh no!" It's just I get it. It's amusing in concept, I guess, but I would just like her to be able to brush that off a little bit and be like, "Yeah, I'm a girl. I'm strong. So what? Screw you guys." Or at least like flirt with that idea a little bit instead of her going into like defensive, embarrassed mode immediately.
yeah yeah all right
Nevertheless, I would call that episode or that segment my least favorite. I thought they were all pretty good. Mostly, I was just happy that the show is back on the air because it's pretty consistent. Um,
yep
and
yep
there's a lot of anime as that is not so consistent, which we can attest to, having just survived and struggled through winter 2022. So Kaguya hopefully will not let us down.
yep yep. Oh, I have like I would say I have like 95% confident that the show will keep it up. I just don't see any reason why like it have a dip in quality. It had a dip in like its stories, because everything is have demonstrated so far is like spot on.
Well, I mean, there's been one plot in each of the 2 seasons so far that I really didn't care for. One being like the flashback to Ishigami's middle school
Yep,
years.
bullies.
Yeah,
Yep.
that I hated the resolution of that story. And
What is the other one?
the other one is when Kaguya gets sick, uh, like midway
Hmm.
through season 1, and she reverts to like being an idiot.
Oh,
You know how
right,
there's like
right.
there's some
Yep.
nickname for her when she's like vulnerable and acting
Yeah.
kind of stupid. I don't remember what the
Right,
nickname
right.
is exactly, but I really don't like that. Just in general, I like the idea of Kaguya being like a super genius, and being like the
Yep.
master puppeteer on par with Shirogane. I don't like seeing the show make her into like a dumb baby. And it was kind of guilty of
Yep.
that in
Agree.
some spots in the first season.
Yep. Agree.
So
Uh,
there's there's always a risk that it'll do something similar. Plus, the further it goes in the manga, apparently the more like story driven it becomes instead of just comedy, and that
I
might
would
spell
prefer
trouble.
that. Yes.
I don't know.
Really, I would prefer that. All right.
Well, it depends on what the story is. If the story is good, then yeah, I'll follow it happily. If it
Yep.
sucks, then
Yep.
I'm gonna be mad.
Yep. Fair enough. Yeah, I think yeah, on the quality of this one, I think we have talked it before, but I just long story short, I really like the way that it exaggerate. It make like the very tiny little things, like have suspense, and like it really good to follow up.
Yeah, like Ino listening to nature sounds on her phone, the way that
Yep.
spirals out of control like a snowball down a hill. And then
Yep.
Ishigami is like it's a life or death matter for him to like protect her pride, but then it ends up
Yep.
backfiring.
Yep. Love that.
Yeah, that is pretty. I mean, that's the show's bread and butter. So I want to see plenty of that this season. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yep. All right. Any other thought on the show, or you want to move on to the next one?
That's pretty much all I have to say about it.
Yep. All right. So I put this second.
All right, I put it third.
Yep. Pretty much on the same page again. The next one gonna be Kawaii Dake, Nai Shikimori-san. Shikimori's not just a cutie.
She's not just a cutie.
For me, it's more like Shikimori, just not a cutie.
Oh, she's not a cutie.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! You one of these? You one of these woman-hating misogynists who can't handle a strong female character? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm just like at the expense of her boyfriend, who like it's just a dummy for so far.
Yeah. I mean, he's like clumsy and everything always happens to him, and she's got to be there to protect
And
him and stuff. Yeah, it's just like a gender flipped version of some dumb show where a girl is always like, about to walk off of a roof or something, and her boyfriend has to save her. It is stupid, but regardless of whether
and
the man is in a particular role or the woman is in a particular role, it is just pretty shallow.
yep, and for me, I think it just the whole premise is that like there's something with happen with the main character, you it is you, and then Shikimori gonna save the day, and like he will remark that, oh, Shikimori is so cute, so she not sorry, it's not cute, it's she so
Cool.
cool.
Kakoi.
Yep, so not cute but cool. And yeah, and that is then play out for like 3 4 times, and to like a unbelievable degree. Like I mean, like why make her have like a perfect score in bowling? I think like she missed one or two would have been so much more credible for me.
Well,
But
I don't think
yeah,
it's about
that's
credibility. You know, she's like
no.
God basically in this
Yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah. I agree. And make me wonder why, like she fell in love with him in the
Right.
first place.
That's
Like
the real question. Yes.
he's really plain. Yes.
Yeah, they have nothing in
So
common whatsoever. But
yeah,
at the end, like, you know, the scene where there's a truck coming by and she switches their positions on the sidewalk because, you know, traditional etiquette, I guess, is that the man walks closer to the street and the woman's on the other side. So she switches
yeah,
their positions, and then she like does the kabedon sort of thing, or has him up against the wall, kind of, and she's like, "You've gotta stop worrying me like that. But you know, I'll love you no matter what. I just want to protect you, and I don't care if blah blah. Blah. I don't remember the phrasing exactly, but the gist of it is it's the sort of thing that a woman might find romantic if a guy said it to her, like, I
right.
just love you for you, you know, I don't care if you're clumsy or whatever. I'm just going to protect you because that's what I want to do. It's not an obligation.
Is it is all right? Is it a bit creepy though?
um
I mean, like with this gender flip,
is it creepy?
I just
I think that's what the show is saying, is that it's not
yeah,
it's not creepy, or that's what the show wants you to believe. um
yeah.
is that it's kind of cool
All
because
right,
Shikimori-san is doing it, you know, and she's cute, and
yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's just really boring.
yeah. I agree. It's boring as heck, and they introduced like a whole heap of the cast of like supporting
Oh,
cast
they all suck.
where yeah where like apparently they have a history with the main characters before, and they just like kind of in, and
Yeah,
they
but that's
all
fine.
like where yeah, that actually fine, but they all like very archetype at the moment, stock character at the moment.
Right. I mean,
Yeah,
specifically
I
to the
don't really
point
care for
about
any of them.
them already being friends with the main characters, I actually think that just on a conceptual level, that's very
Right.
refreshing, because there are way too many anime where one character goes to school and they want their rose-colored high school life, blah blah blah. It's the first day of school. They're in their first year. They make a friend, and then that friend has a friend, and now they're a friend group of three, and then they're going to keep adding them on one at a time, and each time it's like a new
Yeah.
friend and a new experience. And just like, what in the hell are you? Can we just have, please, one story where an existing group of friends is
Yeah.
are attending school together, and that should, you know, Shikimori-san
Yeah.
does that. There are plenty of other anime in the past that have done that too. Orange
Yeah.
is springing
Yeah.
to mind
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Um, but so I'm fine
And
with that. In fact, I kind of appreciate that. But when they all just suck eggs, that's what I'm not fine with. Like the girls at the bowling alley being like, "Come on, you gotta mess up on purpose, because when girls are bad at stuff, that means they're cute." Um, like, why are you friends with these people? They give the
yeah, true.
worst advice ever. And
Yeah,
also, there
true.
is so much stating of the obvious in this show. Like,
Yeah.
uh, the I don't remember the main male character's name, but his friend and
Yeah.
the one of Shikimori's friends, the dark-haired girl, two
Yeah.
of two
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
them are arguing at the bowling alley. Like they're kind of flirting a little bit, trash talking each other. And
Yeah.
there's a scene where Shikimori and her boyfriend are just watching that for a little bit, and then they both remark to each other about, "Oh boy, they're really raring to go for this bowling game." Um, there are too many scenes like that where characters just make that sort of idle chatter to one another about things that we have just clearly seen and do not need any reinforcement. So I take
Yeah.
issue with the
Yeah.
script, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I feel like it's padded.
Yeah.
And those are the kinds of things that people say in real life, when you're with a group of friends and a couple of them are acting like kind of goofy or whatever. You'll make a comment about it to the person standing next to you, but that doesn't mean that you need to put it in a script of a TV series. Like the stuff that we say as human beings on an everyday basis to each other is mostly just insipid crap.
Yeah.
You don't want to see it in a television show. It's just boring and a waste of time. So don't waste my time with it, please. Just write a better anime.
Yep, I kind of sad though that like this one the production is actually pretty good. The animation is consistent. When they make an impact, it does have an impact. When she kicking the falling billboard out of nowhere from the sky,
Yeah.
it's look pretty good.
Yeah. You mentioned Senpai ga Uzai earlier. That's another Dogakobo series. They typically have pretty good character animation. I actually thought that Shikimori-san, despite being a competently animated series, is a little bit of a step down from what we've seen recently from this studio.
All right.
Senpai ga Uzai, its first episode, I remember, had some really great character animation, like if someone putting their hair into a ponytail, or a character speeding up their walk cycle in order to keep up with someone who's a lot taller. A lot of that stuff was animated with some real finesse. Shikimori-san didn't have too much of that. I think it looked fine, but it didn't look great. And also the eyes were a little strange to me. Like their irises were like fuzzy around the ends. The edges they weren't really defined circles. They were circular in shape, but the outline was kind of blurred.
Yep.
I thought that was a little weird.
Yeah, there is one show from this season that I take an issue with the eyes as well, but I can't even recall what that show is. So
was it Danseur, which has the kind of a line running through the character's eyes?
Yep. Yeah, that's the one. One. Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Interesting. All right. What ranking that you put for this show?
7th.
All right, put it 10.
All right.
10.
Last place. You gave this one? Oh no, dude.
Yes.
Okay.
I just don't care about this show, so.
Okay.
Why? All right.
No reason.
The next one is Koi wa Sekai Seifuku no Atude.
Right.
With the English title is Love After World Domination.
Yeah, and that's something I don't quite understand the title, because there's clearly still a struggle going on between the gelato superheroes and the League of Villains. So the world has not been dominated. I don't understand why it's called Love After World Domination, unless that's going to happen at some point in the show's run. One of the organizations will take over the entire world. That would be amazing.
I would reckon that can happen, because I think this is like a status quo right now that need to faction fighting, battling. But I think there will be some point that they're gonna push the plot forward by having one of them dominate the world. But I think it's a dish of the Lich of Evil. We're gonna do that.
Really? You think the show's gonna go there? I think there's pretty much no chance of that happening. I really hope
it's... Yeah? Alright.
Yeah, I mean, a rom-com, they typically like their status quo.
Yeah.
They like things to be pretty much the same, so they can build every episode from the same foundation and just tweak things a little bit. I really doubt that. I think the title is just either poorly localized, or it's just bad in Japanese, or inaccurate, I should say. I mean, the title itself is kind of catchy.
Yeah. Oh, now I remember the bear. There is a bear in here as well.
There's a bear in this. Oh, yes, there is a bear in this. Before the podcast, we were talking about a particular spring 2022 anime that has a bear in it. I wasn't referring to this one, but yes, there is a bear, and he's pretty entertaining, because he's part of the League of Villains, and he's so confident in his victory, but he just ends up getting destroyed, and he runs away, doesn't he? He's like, we'll fight again another day.
Yeah, he actually just surrendered.
He surrenders.
So it would, Yep, he's just like, we lose this time, but we will come back.
Right.
Nah, he's good.
Yeah, well, I mean, this show's a Super
I
Sentai parody as well as a rom-com, so you expect the villains to act like
I
that. You know, they gotta
Yep, I agree with that.
they gotta
I
they
think
gotta
it's
get
just
beaten and then being like, "Curse you, but you won't be so lucky next time. Tune in next week."
yep, yep. I agree. I think it's based on a very simple premise so far. That is, it's more like a Romeo and Juliet kind of, romantic.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't like the anime sweetness, like cutting over the love story at the moment. Like, this is our third date, so we're supposed to hold hands. And the girl was like, God, is that what normal people do? So I don't like this kind of stuff that much. Like I wanted, like they actually, just have a conversation, and like tell more about your personality through conversation. Like what do you think, what your viewpoint of the world. Why don't do that? Why just stick on holding hands, kissing, and uh physical contact and all that
Well,
stuff.
you know exactly
Uh,
why. You know why that is.
I know exactly what. I just, wish the show could be better in this, If you depict a romance, go further.
Right.
And
Well,
I,
I mean,
I,
it's
I,
not really a romance. It's like a rom-com
yeah, yeah.
superpower spoof type of
I
anime.
like the parody aspect of it though.
Yeah.
It like everything straight at the moment, and then like there's some like so. I think the joke is that all these guys are supposed to be serious, and we know like how not serious they are because they all the focus is on the romance. I like that.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty, I don't know, amusing. The
Yep.
fact that they have to pretend
Uh.
to be at odds and actually actively battling one another in that really sunny, grassy meadow where they've kind of
Yep.
staked out a spot for themselves. Um, and the fact that they inadvertently hold hands as a result of their pretending to
Yep.
fight one another. I thought that was a good enough twist on the holding hands is so lewd thing that anime is known for. You know, because
Yep.
it's got to be
Well.
relatable to its audience of people who don't leave the house.
Well. Yes, and it just so like Kaguya-sama as well with the arm wrestling.
Um,
They pre-
is
they
it?
prepare to fight each other, and instead they just realize that they holding hand at the moment, so like they get flustered out that.
Oh yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. I think the good episodes. The first episode is a good enough, like introduction for the characters, but I doubt it that I gonna like want to watch more of this. It's gonna stay the same,
I
and I
actually
think it will.
I'm kind of interested to watch another one. I don't know that I will. I mean, saying that I probably won't.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I thought it was like it had a little bit of heart to it. Desumi
Yeah.
is like insecure about her femininity, and he
Mm-hmm.
Fudo, who's the leader of the gelato superheroes. I just am pretty amused.
Gelato.
Yeah, I'm pretty amused by the fact that both their transformation sequences and their attacks both have to do with like what flavor of gelato their character is based on. Um, Fudo is like, I don't know. It's kind of stupid that he's like, oh, don't worry, you're totally a woman. You do Pilates and you like these types of foods, and it's kind of dumb that he would have to reassure someone of this, but
Yep.
she is actually like legitimately insecure about it just because of her position in life as the leader of a league of villains or of a particular subset, like a particular villain squad, whatever. Um, So
Yep.
he does his best to reassure her and to help her feel confident about herself. Kind of an interesting twist on that situation, because a lot of these sorts of conversations might be about like a woman who is not very traditionally feminine. And then the guy would have to be like, "Oh, you don't need to do Pilates for me to see you as a woman, or you don't need to like accessorize your nails for me to see you as a woman." Like in this show, it's the reverse, and somehow it works, just because of the ridiculousness of the setting.
Yep. Yep.
I was kind of intrigued by that.
Yep.
Um,
I kind of like Fudo the way that he playing everything straight at the moment.
well, his character seems to be the type who's like kind of thick-headed.
Yep. Yep.
You know, he's like a meathead. He's always in the gym.
Yep.
The white-haired professor guy, who's part of their superhero squad back
Do
at
you
the
know what his
base.
name is?
What is
Yep.
his name?
Big Gelato.
Big Gelato.
Yep.
He's like
Yep.
in a regular Super Sentai series, he'd be the guy who comes up with all the gadgets, I assume, and gives them their missions and stuff. His assumption about Fudo is that if he has any sort of thought in his head at all, it's about like justice or world peace. So when he says, "I've been thinking about this girl who I like," the professor's reaction to that is like, "Oh my God!" He just can't believe it.
Blow away.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of amusing as well. I keep using the word amusing. I guess that's how I feel about the show in general. It's pretty funny.
Yep.
I don't think it's really that humorous in a vacuum, but I was kind of amused by it, I guess.
Yep. Yep. I agree. All right. So I put it. Let's see. I put it 7 out of 10. Oh, sorry. Oh, yep. I put it 7 out of 10.
Okay. I did number 5.
5. Yep. Fair enough. I think the next show we will also agree on.
Well, maybe you already put Shikimori-san 10th. I can't believe you put a show 10th and not this one.
Kunoichi Tsubaki no Mune no Uchi. In the heart of Kunoichi Tsubaki. Alright, first thing first, I like ninja. I like ninja depiction in anime. So
Okay.
I was a bit expecting to watch this, like as a clan of ninja girls. Like it kind of have an appeal that appeal to me. But like you said in the blog, that like all of their attention is about boy.
Yeah.
And, oh my God,
It's like
do
it
I
doesn't
hate
even
that.
matter that they're a village of ninjas. What matters is that they're a group of women who have never seen a man and who are obsessed with them. That's
Yep.
that's the defining trait of this series.
Yeah, do I hate that?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Well.
This show
because
is
I
terrible.
just hate the other show more. And we have the whole thing about the team member just run up to fight some man, and then this girl who get them back to the base, who
Tsubaki.
happen to have a Tsubaki, who have a sort of complex against men, who's with the mention of the word man that make her fluster, that make her couldn't think straight. And
Yeah.
why do men have to do with all the story here? It's sad.
The story is just a vehicle to put really young-looking female characters on screen and have them obsess over men.
Yeah, is she 5 years old? She look like 5
Yes,
years old.
it cannot be. I mean, this got the same character designer as the guy from that other show about teasing, like where the girl teases the guy.
Very good. This is the guy.
Takagi-san, teasing master Takagi-san, the same
Right,
character
right,
designer.
right.
and that show makes me uncomfortable, and this show makes me uncomfortable. Just the
Oh,
gigantic foreheads that make the characters look like really young children. Uh,
oh,
no thanks.
I can see that.
No thank you.
All right,
Why does one of them
I can
have
see that.
gigantic breasts despite being like looking like she's 10 years old? Why
Yeah,
any of this? Why is there a long
yeah.
lingering shot of an eggplant symbolizing a phallus when one of the characters can't get men off of her mind? Like,
All right, I didn't even
why?
pick that up, but just because.
just because
Yep.
just because there are pedophiles at home and they need television series too, dude.
Yeah, well, I don't really have that problem with Takagi-san, but because they still depict a like middle school characters
Yeah, but she looks
in a
6.
middle school setting, so I have no issue with that. But this one, yes, like the way that they, I don't even mind the character design, but the way that they just like they have only one thing on their mind. This is men, so
Yeah.
nah, not for me.
Yeah. It's just bad.
Yep.
Like when she's trying to demonstrate how like capable she is, she's like throwing her kunai knives and hitting all the targets. All the members of her team, like her squad, who look up to her as their senpai, they're like, "Oh man, you're really on your game today, Tsubaki-san," or whatever, however they address her. And
Yep.
she's like, "Oh, well, watch me throw the shuriken now. I'm even better with the shuriken." And then she thinks about a man, or men, the concept of men in general, with their mysterious crotches. And then
Yep.
she misses all her targets. And I mean, some background character at one point says, I heard their crotches are like different than ours, and they kind
Yeah.
of smell."
Oh man. All right, all right. That's the other issue that I have with the show. They kind of repeat the same thing every single time. Like they said about that they some crotchet of the man being the weak point like three
Yeah.
four times. They kind of the man kind of smell. They said it like 3 4 times as well. It's like,
Yeah.
oh
I
my god.
mean, it kind of makes sense that they would say the same thing over and over again, though, because they have all they have to go on is rumors.
Yep, yep,
Um,
yep.
but yeah, that doesn't mean that it makes for a good watching experience. It really is
All
just
right.
terrible.
Yep. I put it 9 out of 10.
Dead last, baby.
Yep. All right, but we sell some of the best for last, so
Did we?
let's move on to that.
I can't even remember when
Well,
anime was good after watching Kunoichi
all right,
Tsubaki.
all right. So the next one is Spy Family.
Right. Spy times family. The
Yep.
official pronunciation that I made up, or that I read online, rather.
All right. This is one of the few shows that I watched a few volume of the manga before watching the anime, so I kind of know what to expect for Spy Time Family.
Spy times family. So you knew what to expect. I didn't know what to expect, really. I mean, I knew that the little girl was going to be psychic.
All right.
And I know that he has to pose as somebody with a wife and child. I knew that. Beyond that, I didn't really know anything about it.
Yep.
But it
All
turned
right.
out
So how
turned out pretty well.
All right. I think the first few minutes like before the credit roll, I don't like it that much. I just feel like it a bit um too much to over explore for on the characters. Like they wanted to make Lloyd a bit like a bit too cool, and basically it just for me it's just a bit too much on his characters. But other than that, I think it's fine. Like
Like
the
they
way
wanted
that
to make him out to be too what?
too cool.
Too good a spy, or
Yeah, too super perfect, and I don't really like that.
right?
Like the way that yeah he oh my
He
god, what's
dumps
the
the girl
word?
at the restaurant.
Yeah, that one, and he's uh camouflage himself to the other guys,
Oh
and
yeah,
just in that same scenes, like that guy show up,
right. Just
and
like 2 seconds afterwards.
yeah, yeah, it just doesn't, yeah, it just feel a bit too much for me.
The show seems to be in a hurry at the beginning.
Yeah,
With
yep.
the leader, I guess. So there's Ostania, and there's Westalis. So apparently we're dealing with like a fictional continent, or two of
Yep.
them, or just a whole alternate universe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like the other guy who shows up. Isn't he like the weeder? The weeder. Isn't he the leader of whatever
Of
they're
the
called?
other
Ostania,
country.
maybe. Yeah, I think
Yep.
they're Ostanian.
Yep. Yep. Maybe.
So
Yep.
he does show up immediately after Lloyd has secured these photographs to stop the world from learning about the president of Westalis, the fact that he has a toupee. Got to prevent that information from leaking, so confidence in the country doesn't falter.
Yeah.
I kind of like that it has that as its like it's a ridiculous sort of story. There's all this espionage and backstabbing and like reconnaissance and stuff over photographs of a guy's toupee. I think that's kind of entertaining, and it stops the show from getting too like self-serious. Though it does get a little bit
All right.
serious with regard to Lloyd's character. Like he dumps the Austanian minister's daughter immediately. Like he's used her in order to get close to the guy so he could get those
Yep.
photographs. So he dumps her right away. And
All right. Remember the reason that he said.
yeah, like he's not gonna have a wife or a daughter or a relationship. He just doesn't need any of
No.
that stuff. Oh, I can't sense any
No.
intelligence
He
from
said.
you.
Yep. this. Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I think he just wanted to
Oh.
make the breakup as swift as possible, so he just said, "You're dumb."
Yeah.
LOL,
Yep.
and walked out.
God.
So he's like, pretty cold-hearted in that sense. That's what I guess you'd have to be in order to be getting yourself in and out of like romantic entanglements all the time just for information's sake. He also thinks to himself at one point, like midway through the episode, "Oh, I can just like I don't need Anya. I don't need this kid who I've picked up.
Yeah.
She is gone from the apartment. Like I'm compromised, so I got to start over from scratch. I got to relocate. I can find another kid anywhere. I don't need her." He thinks that to himself. So he's like a consummate professional, I guess. He really wouldn't have an issue abandoning her. But then, of course, we got to get, the scene where he's like, "Oh, I realize why she's crying, and I had a terrible childhood too, and I was always crying all the time when I was a kid." And
Yeah.
that was probably my
And
least
my
favorite
mission
scene.
to become a spy is to save other people.
Right. Yeah. That whole
Yeah.
realization that he had was probably my least favorite part of the episode.
All right. I always like Peter and Mrs. Smith.
I've
The
seen
way
that
that
film.
they are both spy from an opposing factions. Didn't realize that at first, and like they kind of living in the same family's household without knowing the others are spy.
Right.
I love that premise, and this is kind of that as well. Plus Anya, who like the kind of kid who know everything, who can read other people's minds, and just look at her facial reaction.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's just priceless.
She makes some pretty
So,
amusing faces.
So yeah, everything is a plus for me. I just love they stay like that. like the husband and wife, and with the kid serving as like the heart of the story.
Well, the wife hasn't
And
even
so
been introduced
far,
yet, so that doesn't even factor into this
that's
episode.
right. And so I was about to mention that I did expect the wife to appear in this episode, but she didn't. I think for good reason, because like it might be a bit too rushed to have her in these episodes. And yeah, I think so far is what I would expect out of the manga. So it's nothing that really uh outstanding, like make me like, wow, this is like a even better adaptation out of the manga. No, not yet, but we still have like a pretty entertaining story so far.
No love for the fight scene midway through the episode
That's
where he
alright.
comes back to his apartment and there's two guys waiting for him to ambush him.
Yeah, it is alright.
It's all right. I thought that was the single best piece of animation in any of these 10 episodes.
Right.
It was
Yeah,
boarded
it's
really
alright.
well too. Like he throws a can at that one guy and the can kind of sinks into his face. Like his face kind of sags just a tiny little bit because the can hits him. You get that little bit of squash animation in there.
I I just think that fight scene remind me a bit of the first episode of Banana Fish, and Banana Fish doing much better than this one. Like
Banana
I was
Fish.
more impressed on that one than this one.
I remember there being a fight scene in Banana Fish, like in the bar or something, where the characters hang out. And
Yeah.
Ash like does some like he plants his hands up on the counter and leverages himself up so he can kick two guys at the same time.
Yep.
Something
Yep.
along those lines.
That one. That
yeah,
one. Yeah.
that was a really cool scene.
Mm-hmm.
Spy Time's family doesn't really have anything on that level, but I was impressed by the scene where he comes back to the apartment. The two guys are waiting to ambush him. I like that
Mm-hmm.
because he deals with both of them
Uh,
on his own so efficiently. You know, it kind of you're like, wow, this guy really is a super duper spy. Kind of gives him credibility, even though he's about to be shackled to like a wife and a kid who are not real and who are just, I don't know, creating a bunch of silly nonsense plots. Because you got to assume it's not going to be all spy stuff all the time. There's going to be like, I don't know, events that they have to go to and pose as a real family.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing, like the post-credit scene or mid-credit scene. I don't remember exactly how it was timed, but he reads the bit of paperwork they get from that academy where Anya has to sign up, and both the mother and the father
Yep.
have to show up together. So there will probably be, beyond that, there will be additional requirements for them. Like they might have to go to a fundraiser together, or they might have to play tennis with the neighbors, or something like that.
I think I missed that scene. The
Yeah,
post credit scene.
you
that
typically
mentioned.
don't watch the credits. You're just like, well, the episode's over.
Oh, this is the time to watch another episodes.
Yeah. No, but yeah, there's more stuff to watch.
Sorry, I missed that.
So that's they mentioned
yeah,
they
and
mentioned the need for a wife character in that moment. He reads the piece of
Cool.
paper and he's like, I have to show up together with like both of your parents have to show up together for the interview to get this kid into this school. So season 2 or episode 2 will be about her, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
that's
that this show is just like straight ripping off Mr. and Mrs. Smith and
from the manga. Right.
I don't remember. I haven't read the manga. But I assume that the woman is going to be like a double agent and she's actually part of like she's an Austonian spy whereas he's part of Westalis and they won't know that about each other.
All right. Have a look at the second episode. I will
Yeah.
spoil you on that one.
I mean, it's practically a guarantee.
Yeah. Well,
This show's just Mr. and Mrs. Smith with a psychic baby or a psychic,
Yep.
like
I
primary
I
school.
just love the characters. So yeah, this is a yes for me.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like that
would
it's
watch.
I like that it's fun.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
really
true.
buy into the emotionality of it yet, like Anya kind of
Right.
pulling on his heartstrings. I just think Anya herself is awesome, but him being like, ah, yes, the cries of a child have transported me back into my own
Yep.
memories. I don't really care enough about him yet to feel like that matters.
Yep. Yep. Fair enough. All right. So I reckon that you put it first.
I did, yeah.
I put it third.
All right.
All right. The next one gonna be summertime render. What? Summertime render.
Yeah. Summertime Rendering is the English title.
English style.
I
Yeah.
mean, they're both so similar. Either one works.
So I fan sub just emerged. I think for the last few days, and you pointed me to that sub.
Yeah, it's actually Torn who's fan subbing it, who's like kind of a legendary fan subber. He's the guy who did all the Great Pretender episodes before they came out on
Right.
Netflix.
It actually, I think the Great Pretenders subtitle is even better than the official one.
Yeah, I agree completely. Summertime Rendering subs are pretty good too, but there are times when, like because it's an island in Japan, like a remote island, population's only 700 or so. They kind of give them a southern
Yep.
accent, like a United States southern accent in the
All
subs
right.
to indicate that
Yep.
these are like Japanese hillbillies, basically.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
Most of the time it kind of works, but there was one line where they translated or they wrote the word start as starred with a D on the end. Like somebody had a
Alright.
really, really thick southern drawl, and I was like, that is just pushing it. You don't need. I understand that this is not Tokyo and that there's the dialect in play, but I don't need that level of regionality. But yeah, subs are pretty good for the most part.
Yep. I really into the mystery at heart of this one.
What is
I
the mystery?
The mystery is that they found a doppelganger version of themselves who like starting to killing up other peoples.
Right. And there's the one guy, the guy with the silver beard. His name is Ginjiro, I think. He's the hunter. He
Huh?
talks. You don't remember this scene where Shinpei and Mio
Right.
are
Right.
talking together about
Oh yeah. The
like
hunter,
a
yes.
local
Yep.
legend or something, and Ginjiro comes by and he's like, that there is shadow sickness.
Yep.
So apparently
Remember
on
that.
this island in particular, this phenomenon exists.
Yep. There's supernatural twist, which I like, and maybe like that just psychological, or it's more like sci-fi twist. I don't mind either scenario. So
I'm thinking it's probably got to be science fiction, right? Because at multiple points throughout the episode, there are like little glitches on screen
yeah,
where things get
yeah,
kind of blurry and pixelated.
yeah.
Um,
I
Kind of
think
indicates that he's part of a simulation or something. Because when he dies, he wakes up at the end.
yeah. I think the ending is the only weak part. So I just think that if you end it right at the moment where he got shot in his head and dead, it would make like a much more impact than like it reverts back to like he wakes up at the booth of this girl.
Right. I
So
I agree with you, but I feel like a lot of people would be turned off by that. Like they just think to themselves, "Why did I just spend the last 25 minutes watching this when
oh
the guy
wow,
was just going to die at the end?" And most people would be able to figure out that there's going to be some twist.
yeah,
But I think a lot of people would be unsatisfied by that, just in their gut, and they wouldn't want to
right.
watch more.
That's sad because I actually prefer that endings because I will be sure to tune up to see like how everything goes
Yeah.
in the second episode.
Well, then you can
But
just treat it like you got the first 10 seconds of episode 2 early.
yep, true. But it kind of spoil, like if he can, revert back, I don't feel any danger of, him getting killed the next time.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the whole ReZero thing. Because that show has the same
Yep.
exact premise or the same mechanic. When you die, you
Yep.
come back to life. Maybe, man, I don't know. I can't even speculate. I don't know what is going to come next. They're going to try to figure out the mystery, I guess, so that they can
Yep.
stop dying. Because I assume,
All right.
since they have this ability to come back to life, or he does anyway, the show's going to take advantage of it, and he's going to die multiple times. And they got to solve the mystery to stop the cycle of death and rebirth.
All right. So I think the whole mystery so far is that they see a doppelganger version of themselves, and that one is more like an evil one, and they kill the original self, and they kind of kill other family members of the house as well. So so far I think that the dying girl, the dead girl, Ushio, have seen the that version of herself. We have like a doppelganger of Mio who kill everyone at the end.
Yeah.
And at some point, I think we hear that the girl that Ushio trying to sell, I think her name is Shiori. Not sure on that.
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember the name.
Yeah, she saw a doppelganger as well.
Right. But what does that mean exactly? Does that mean there are multiple doppelgangers, or does it mean there's one doppelganger that appears differently to different people?
That's a good point. I was thinking of like different doppelgangers, but I think you bring up a good point. They might be just one being who trying to copy other person and kill them.
Yeah.
Or
No,
not,
no
because
clue.
because we don't even know that for sure.
Yeah, the show's mostly...
So, yeah,
there isn't a lot of clarity about its story yet. That's mostly just banking on the cliffhanger or the
Yep.
like the shock of its ending to get you to tune
What-
back in.
Yep. What I find the most impressive is what I like the most is the direction so far, because I think the direction just keep holding everything up together well for now. Like it keep building up the atmospheres, and there's like the whole section where they like where I feel the suspense.
Yeah,
How about you?
Me too. Like when Mio
Right.
rode off the pier on her bicycle into the water, and she kind of flipped upside
Oh.
down as she was doing it. I was in total suspense about what color her underwear was going to be. Really glad the show cleared that up for me.
Oh well. Yep.
Very
I don't know why
suspenseful.
they would include.
Oh, come
they
on,
would
you know
include
why.
those scenes and the move and the big move. Why?
Yeah, well, you got whenever he wakes back up after he dies, he's gonna wake up with his nose in some cleave, some
Love.
big cleavage. So
Isn't that the best?
not when you get slapped every time, because that's what's gonna happen. That's what happened the first time he got slapped.
Yep.
So the second
think-
time when he wakes up, he'll probably be like, "Wait! We've
I
done
think
this
he would love
before."
that. Yep. All right. Yep. I think the redo thing is like I don't think it's my favorite part of the show, but I think it's like the mechanic of the story so far. So they keep ReZero doing that over and over again until they get it right. Hopefully, it's not. What gonna happen?
What do you mean? That they'll eventually solve the mystery and win? You don't want that to happen?
No. I don't want. They just keep dying and do like until they get it right.
Oh, there's no chance that they don't do that, man.
Yeah.
Think about it. He can come back to life when he dies. That's what we're in for. He's gonna die.
Yeah.
Gonna come back to life with his nose in in between some tiggle bitties over and over. I mean, you have to have him die just so you can reuse that little bit of animation over and over. Save your staff some work.
All right. So I think the main thing is that for the first episode is you buying the mysteries at all or not?
It's all right. I mean, I wasn't really blown away by this show.
Yep.
I was like, I think it's pretty cool that it went to such an interesting place right at the end. Like it turned all of what you'd seen in the first 24 episodes upside down immediately.
Yep.
I wasn't really engaged too much by it. Like, I guess the way I should phrase it is, it didn't really, like, my heart wasn't pounding or anything. I wasn't like really like sweating. I didn't have any sort of response to what I was watching. I was more like, oh, huh, that's kind of a big twist. All right, kind of like that.
Yep.
Next. So, I guess that's good enough, to be able to watch something and appreciate it.
Yep. All right.
I mean, I would say I'm more happy that the show's just competently produced overall.
Yep.
And there's some decent direction to it. Like the scene where the kid is, what's his name, Shinpei, where he's in his room and he hasn't really grieved yet about Ushio's death. And the scene opens with a shot of the air conditioner with some condensation forming on the air conditioner.
Yep.
And then right as he's in his room for a bit, he gets a phone call from someone and he starts to think about, the necklace. Maybe he gets that seashell necklace from Mio, the one that he gave to Ushio a long time ago. In any case, he starts to break down because he hasn't allowed himself to cry. And then right as soon as that happens, like the moisture drips from the what am I trying to say? The air conditioner. So it's like that scene primes you at the very beginning to expect what's going to happen with the image of the water beating on the machine. There's I wrote down a couple other examples that are similar to that, but since it takes me forever to describe even one of them, I'll just let them, suffice it to say that the show does that sort of thing multiple times. Like it will establish the future events or the mood of a scene with a little piece of imagery at the start.
Yeah.
So that sort of thing I like.
Yeah. And this from the director of Children of the Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Kumi-san, the first season of Kumi-san. So he established After the Rain as well.
Yeah, but he's been working in anime for a long time. Yeah, those are all recent projects. He's been working in anime for decades. It's only recently that he has really stepped up his production load, I guess.
Yep.
Because he, Studio 4C, which is where he's been based for a long time, puts out projects at a really slow rate. Because they're like really meticulous, and it's mostly feature films that they do, or like really elaborate animations, like intro sequences, or for video games, or like commercials. Studio 4C doesn't do a lot of TV anime. It's only recently that he started to work outside the studio and like branch out a little bit.
Yeah.
He's a talented guy, so I guess I'm in favor of it, but I don't want him to like do this for 5 years and decide, oh man, I'm exhausted. Let me just get out of the game.
Just a bit like USR now.
Yeah. Well, Yuasa kept it up for a superhuman amount of time.
Yeah.
And we still got one film left to look forward to from him.
Yeah. All right. So so what did you put on this one?
Second.
I put it first.
Alrighty. We've pretty much agreed on every single show so far.
we have the same
except
top three.
for the last one.
Well, we have the same top three, and we have the same last two.
Right.
Is it?
No.
Nah, not really. I just hate Shikimori-san.
Yeah.
I just.
I mean, it was bad,
Right.
but
Yep. Not as bad. Hey.
not as bad. Not as bad. This is the one we have the most diverging opinion on. This one coming up here.
All right. Yep. So the last one gonna be Tiger and Bunny second season.
Yeah.
And
Have you seen
all
the
right,
first season? Have you finished it?
I finished it.
Oh, really?
I just
Okay.
Yep. I just feel that I always enjoy the earlier part of the show. So
What happens in the later
like
part
that.
that's not as enjoyable?
It get into some conspiracy. It get into like more serious bit where we get reveal of the of the enemy, the antagonist, and they are just a joke. And so the beginning pack where like it's all about like superhero in a commercial setting. So they are like they function like game show, reality game show. I love that.
Yeah.
I would have that like every week of the day.
You want to live in that
I
world
continue
and watch that
every
reality
week to-
show?
Yeah, man, why not? Like they all pretty cool. Like they all superhero who like doing that, to save the world. Plus, like for commercial, it just there is like a stupid quality of it. That
Yeah,
they have
but-
to like chase down the sponsor, have to please them. All this, I think it's like a fun and good satire.
Man,
Of
I don't agree at
consumerism.
all. I don't agree at all.
All
This
right.
show is not. You said there's a stupid quality to it when you were kind of summarizing it just now, but this show, I mean, it's obviously stupid to us watching it, but
Yep.
the show is not. It doesn't seem to really view itself that way. I don't think. Like the scenes where it would cut to all the people in the bar watching the show together
Right.
and like saying the catchphrases and the slogans along with the characters and the commenters on the series, like the announcer, I guess.
Yep.
It just seems like everyone's like a huge fan of this whole situation where superheroes are corporately sponsored and they have to rack up points by saving people and bringing bad guys to justice. That just is so ingrained into the world of Tiger and Bunny that it's the new normal, and I know it's dumb, but the show doesn't really have sufficient awareness of how dumb it is. I don't think. Like Tiger and Bunny having to go golfing with one of their company's like rich contributors midway through this episode. They, if they're heroes and what they're about is, keeping the peace and preventing crime and saving innocent people, they should be kind of pissed off that they have to do something like this, right? They should be like, this is a waste of our time. Fuck this.
Yep.
But instead, they're just kind of like mildly inconvenienced, and they don't even really seem to care that much that they have to do this.
All right. I think this is more on point in the first season where they kind of get pissed off out of that, but maybe this is like to show that they have grown into like understand that it is like one of the essential part of like being a superhero in that era.
To show that they've grown.
The characters.
I can't see them as having grown at all. I mean, I didn't finish the first season, but in this the second season premiere, the two of them get into a massive argument about one of them eating the other one's, like
Pudding.
drinking the other's juice box or something, or energy drink
Yeah.
from the break room fridge at their corporate superhero job. And then they start giving each other the silent treatment. Like they're 4 years old.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
What kind of character growth is that?
Yep.
I just
Yep,
don't
I
like
know,
that was really
against that.
present in the first season too. Is like one of them is young and really motivated. The other one is kind of is older and like not as hip and not as like a little clumsier and less competent. And so that friction between their personalities, they would, Barnaby would call Tiger old, and Tiger would be like, "Don't call me old, blah blah blah. You're just a young upstart." Da, 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 da. I was never entertained by that. I don't know. I just found it to be too much like a Japanese manzai comedy routine. I just don't find that sort of thing funny.
Yep.
I
Alright.
just think it's kind of silly.
Yep. Oh, it's silly, alright. I understand that. I just feel that I like the old cast and I like the new edition of the cast right now. I don't really care much about the villain at the moment. I think like the beginning, the before credit and the after credit are the show, are the episode worst for now, and I think it's gonna be like that. They were in coming episodes, but yeah, I'm happy to be in this world and be in that world and watch more of it.
What was the pre-OP or the beginning,
All
the
right.
cold open of this episode? I don't even remember. Was it just all the
All right.
superheroes chasing the guys?
No. It remember the post credit scenes.
Yeah, with the villain.
The-
Were they
Yeah,
at the
the
very
villain.
beginning as well?
So they are in the beginning, but they merged into one, and they try to strangle Barnaby.
Oh yeah, and then it says like 48 hours earlier or 2
Yep.
weeks earlier or something like that, right?
Yep. That's right.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't crazy about the villains.
Nope.
It just seems like they're gonna make. If I were to keep watching, I would just be grinding my teeth whenever they showed up on screen. So I'm gonna dip out early, so I don't have to go through that.
Yeah. So this is a no to you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm keen to watch it to the end, but I think this is the last 2 seasons, and we only get to see like the first season. I think.
This is. Oh, you mean
Check
2 core?
on that. 2 core. Yeah.
I have no idea. Maybe.
Yeah.
Tiger and Bunny is really,
And-
really popular in Japan, so I would have to imagine that they would, double up, try to do 24, 26 episodes.
Yeah.
Who knows?
All right. That's gonna be 2 core, and let's see. All we got here is like the first core. Yeah, it's up to episode 13 at the moment.
Well, it's up to episode 1 at the moment, right?
Oh, they have the whole thing.
Oh, that's right.
already.
Yeah. It's an ONA. That's right.
Yeah, it's Netflix.
So I put
So-
it 8th.
Oh, really? I thought you put it 6. Yeah, you put Diamond 6.
Yeah.
I put it 4th.
4th. Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Mostly
So, like you
the
said-
same opinions about this whole. I mean, this might be the closest we've ever come to seeing eye to eye on pretty much every show except for one.
Except for Tiger and Bunny and Shikimori-san.
No, I pretty much agree with you that the show's not any good. I just thought that others were worse.
Yeah, true. Yep. So except for Tiger and Bunny, and I think I have a solid top 5 show that I want to watch to the end. With Danseur, I might give some more episodes. and a couple of other shows that we didn't talk as well.
Yeah.
So a pretty good list for me.
Well, whether
A
it's good or
pretty
not,
season for me.
yeah, we'll that remains to be seen. You know,
That's true.
you can start off with promise and end with none.
Yeah. Great.
It'll be a while before we make the determination, though. 2.5 months, I guess, maybe 3 months.
Yep. So according to our schedule, we will have to wait for a while until we get back to anime again. But we're thinking of, doing maybe that anime time capsule or some special project in June. So 6 weeks from now, mostly.
Is it 6?
The
The very start of May or the very start of June would be 6 weeks.
No, yeah, the very start of June.
Okay.
The 5th of June. That's what we're thinking.
I'll have another touch episode to upload between now and then. I'll space them out.
Right.
But yeah, it's not going to be seasonal anime next time. Going to talk about something a little different. So we will see you then.
All right. Have fun and enjoy the Easter.